Time now for a Left of Lansing Monday Musing for this August 26th of 2024. During last week's Democratic Party convention, Michigan U.S. Senate candidate Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin reminded the country that we can reject the Trump MAGA era trashing of America and that we can once again be the leaders of the world, saying, because America doesn't follow, we don't retreat. We are the damn United States of America. We lead. Indeed, we are the damn United States of America, a country that leads the free world. But you don't get that feeling from her MAGA Republican Senate opponent, Florida Mike Rogers. Again, we Michiganders call Rogers Florida Mike since he left Michigan after being a congressman for a number of years to work on behalf of defense contractors in Florida. He sold his house in Howell after retiring from Congress and bought a $1.5 million home in Cape Coral, Florida. How nice. And while down there, Florida Mike used his connections dealing with the defense contracting industry to rake in loads of cash. Business Insider reported how Florida Mike used the revolving door between office holders and lobbyists in Washington to his advantage, amassing a nice chunk of change through the work he first championed while in Congress. You see, Florida Mike pushed through a number of bills that turned out to be a boon for the cybersecurity industry. And once he left Congress, Rogers then joined the boards of several cybersecurity companies where he made nearly $2 million in 2022 alone. A mighty fine day's work there indeed, Mr. Rogers. Combine that with speaking fees and other appearances, Florida Mike made a nice, comfortable living for himself. And who says government doesn't create jobs? But while Florida Mike used his government contacts to feed from the trough, he spent his congressional career making life harder for working Americans and Michiganders. Rogers, for instance, voted against the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, which stopped insurance companies from denying people with pre-existing conditions from receiving care and also allowed kids to be on their parents' insurance until age 26. Rogers also voted to repeal Obamacare later, which ultimately failed in 2014 thanks to the late Republican Senator John McCain. But he still tried to chip away at Obamacare by voting for a restaurant industry-backed bill that raised the threshold of full-time work from 30 to 40 hours a week. You see, Obamacare required employers to offer full-time benefits to those working 30 hours a week. Florida Mike said, no, I work for business interests, not the workers. Let's hurt the workers, and let's hurt the families even more. Meanwhile, Elissa Slotkin voted to pass the Inflation Reduction Act just a couple of years ago, which included a provision capping insulin costs at $35 for Medicare recipients. Apparently, she believes America can lead by becoming a more healthy society. But there's something else about Florida Mike Rogers that's just as worse. The people he surrounds himself with in his campaign. Former MAGA Michigan Republican co-chair Meshawn Maddock, who's also one of the 15 MAGA Republicans who took part in Trump's fake elector scheme in Michigan to steal the race for dear leader in 2022, and who's now also been selected again by state Republicans to serve as an elector for dear leader again this time around, is also on Florida Mike's Women for Mike Rogers Advisory Board. Now, this is the same woman who just posted a disgusting tweet last week attacking Democratic state representative and good friend of this show, Jason Morgan, by using a gay slur to describe him, which once again illustrates that MAGA Republicans will never accept or like the LGBTQ plus community, and that they also live inside their own world of hatred and ignorance. And this is who Florida Mike Rogers is surrounding himself with. The United States leads, or ought to lead, in the realm of human rights and the rights of all marginalized Americans. The United States must lead in ensuring, as Kamala Harris said in her nominating acceptance speech, that none of us has to fail for all of us to succeed. And like Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said of how dear leader simply doesn't get us, the same is true for Florida Mike Rogers. He doesn't get us. Like dear leader Trump, Mike Rogers used government to make himself rich while spending his professional career determined to use government to make life harder for the rest of us. That's not what America is about. That's not what Michigan is about. And to paraphrase Congresswoman Slotkin, it's time that we pick leaders who want to lead all of us and not just the well-connected, because we're the damn United States of America and we're supposed to lead for all the people. And one quick note, please help Democrat Sarah Mae Seward defeat Meshawn Maddock's MAGA buffoon of a husband, Matt Maddock, in the 51st House District this November by visiting sarahmaeseward.com. leftoflansing@gmail.com is the best way to reach me. Subscribe to the podcast and also subscribe to Left of Lansing on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, the Gram, and Facebook. Take the battle to them.